Anna Paulson has been the research director at the Chicago Fed since 2019. She kind of rose up in the Chicago Fed as an economist, very well respected economist in the Fed system. So I think this will be, pretty welcome news for a lot of folks at the Fed. As I said, she was research director since 2019 there, so she has attended FOMC meetings since then. So kind of will be a familiar face to folks.
What will Harker's legacy be as they step down from or leave this position?
Yeah, Pat Harker, was a really interesting addition to the Federal Reserve. He has a business background, and I think that can be really useful. There's often a lot of economists at the Fed, which is great. Obviously, that's needed, that deep understanding of how the economy works. But it's also useful to have folks like Harker who have more of that kind of practical background, kind of knows how businesses make decisions. That can be really important because he kind of brings that insight to the FOMC when they're making policy decisions.
What's the Fed, the Philadelphia Fed, what's kind of its focus? I know some of these individual Federal Reserve banks, they tend to have certain areas of expertise focus. Talk to us about the Philly Fed. How should we think about that?
Yeah, I mean, the Philly Fed, it's a really interesting area. It has obviously a lot of manufacturing in the Philly Fed. So that's something that they look closely at and do some research on. So it's just geographically kind of an important part of the country, especially right now as we kind of talk about the future of manufacturing in the U.S. I think we can look to them for research on that. I think this is, overall a welcome development for the Fed to have someone who is so well respected kind of appointed to this position.
So the chair of the search committee and of the Philadelphia Board of Directors said that Anna has a strong commitment to the Federal Reserve's dual mandate of price stability and maximum employment, which doesn't tell us much about whether Anna is expected to be more dovish or hawkish. Katerina, do we know yet where Anna Paulson is going to lean?
Yeah, I think that's kind of a big question right now because we don't. Because her research has focused more on financial institutions, on the insurance industry, for example. She's done a lot of research into that. She hasn't done as much of the kind of work on inflation, unemployment, like those two parts of the mandate. So we don't have a lot of kind of public remarks from her on that. So it'll be really interesting to see. We'll have to kind of see in her first remarks how she leans. It's I think a bit of an open question.
So, Katerina, what did you and what are your sources? What are they saying this morning about President Trump's social media post about Fed Chairman Jay Powell that his reign can't come to an end soon enough?
Yeah, I mean, this is of utmost concern to markets and to anyone that watches the Fed. We had a lot of volatility in markets last week just because of the tariff news, and people are really on edge. So anything that could kind of exacerbate that or bring back those levels of volatility, people are really nervous about. And any sort of comments about something that threatens Fed independence really makes people nervous. If we were to see the president actually take action on that, on those remarks and try to fire the Fed chair, I think people, would be really concerned about what you might see in markets. Fed independence is really has been a part of the U.S., of how we function here for a few decades now. And it's something that people really believe is necessary for an economy to function well. So
Right.
People are nervous.